part of the Press Play Podcast Network.
Support for Podcast 616 is brought to you by Newark and Zanesville Auto Body. Safe, reliable collision repairs are their business. Local, family-run, and veteran-owned business serving Newark, Ohio, and Zanesville, Ohio, and surrounding areas. And guess what? They work with all insurance providers to make your experience hassle-free. Plus, ask about their special discounts for U.S. military veterans. Visit them today at autobodyofnewark.com and autobodyofzanesville.com to get your repair started. Their iCar Gold Class team of skilled collision repair technicians will make your vehicle like new again. Welcome back, everybody, to Podcast 616, the official podcast of Earth 616. I am your host, Damon Royster, and today we are talking about X-Men 97, Episode 6, entitled Lifedeath Part 2, a.k.a. The Miseducation of Professor Charles Xavier. We are deep in it. You know, we had a really emotional Episode 5, so let's talk about learning and feelings. And so I have two guests who can really help me. I think one of them really helps with learning, and the other one really helps with feelings. You be the judge on which is which. My first guest, L comes over P. So my first guest alphabetically, fresh from Venom 2, Let Them Eat Carnage, back for the second time. This guest is a comedian, actor, hopefully a fun guy, and he plays basketball. So you know he's gonna steal from you. Please welcome to your ears, Tim Lamphier.
What the hell? I'm gonna steal from you. Steal your hearts
Stealing
and dunk it down.
How are you doing, Dunk? I'm a Duncan friend.
I'm doing really good. I had a good improv show several days ago. Oh, you were there.
Yeah, I've seen you do improv. Last two improv shows I've seen you at. You're great.
Okay, I like the sound of that.
There's
You
like
know how it is.
There was some like motorcycle work on stage.
Oh yeah.
That was fun. That's fun.
Yeah. I'm feeling good.
Great. And hopefully we'll take that away from you after this discussion. In my second seat, oh my gosh, third time on the podcast, Captain Marvel, Black Widow, and now Life Death Part 2. Please welcome to your ears a style icon and a comedian, but style icon first. Dressed like Storm in the overalls. I can't believe she did it, and I love it. I love it, love it. Please welcome to your ears, Emma Pope.
It's so great to be here. Oh God.
You want to do that again?
So excited. No, leave it. It's so great to be here.
Wonderful to have you.
I'm exhausted from the Met Gala. So I'm just a little ragged, run ragged.
I would imagine. My gosh. What was your outfit? Because the theme was like Garden of Time this year.
It was soil. So I wasn't in any of the pictures because I dressed covered in dirt, fertilizer and stuff, and then sort of
Smart.
walked along the ground on, slithered along kind of army crawl.
Oh, that was you.
So that was me. I added ambiance. I did not show up in any pictures, but I think for my work, the outfits looked more realistic. You're welcome.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you for your gift and your work. Keeping it with Emma, talk to me about X-Men 97. Did you only watch this episode? What have you seen?
This is the only episode I've ever seen ever.
Fantastic.
Of X-Men. Ever.
A part 2.
A part 2. I jumped in to the deep end.
Mm-hmm.
I can't actually remember the last time I watched an animated series, period. So there was a lot from you. I was saying, well, they look like people, but they're not people. But I liked it. And from sort of a newbie perspective, I was like, wow, so much is conveyed in drawing emotions wise. Well, Am I the feelings of the learning and feelings? I don't know.
We'll find out.
But I, especially the previously on was really important. And then
Huge.
Also just observing. Yeah, I feel like you can tell a whole story from facial expressions, which seems like it would be harder to do when it's not real faces, but they really they told so much. And I really loved this psychological factor of the bird, being the fear factor element of like knowing all of her fears and then her overcoming them.
My God, that's it. Oh my God,
Yeah, her
Storm in
hair
this,
gets longer immediately.
she just flies around.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Yeah, and yeah, the whole Storm thing feels like a novel you would have to read in English class. Like it's just such like a really deep
Yeah.
rumination. We'll get to it.
Cool.
Tim Lamphier, just to align us
Yeah.
correctly, where are you coming at? Where are you coming at this from?
Where am I coming at this from? Let me see here. Yeah, I thought, oh, are we just watching old episodes of X-Men for a second?
Mm-hmm.
But then I learned X-Men 97 was made this year. And then I thought this throughout the watching, there were several times where I remarked, this animation is fucking cool.
Oh
I
yeah.
thought it was just a lot of the animation was awesome. And where am I coming at this from? When I hear that theme music, you can't help it. The heart rate goes, like I'm back to little kid mind where I'm like, oh my God, here come the X-Men. And they're going to fly all over the place and show me cool things. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Scientists are saying that because millennials watch the X-Men cartoon, that's why we have so much anxiety growing up, because that theme song, it's like makes our heart race.
Okay, my anxiety is unexplained because I never watched that cartoon. So
But I did want to say, I did my homework and I watched part 1 as well.
Rockin'.
Didn't know that the episode starts with the end or with a completely different episode at the beginning of it, unrelated to Lifedeath. So I'm thinking, I'm watching this thing and I'm like, holy shit, the entire other episode's about video game world. I'm like, this is awesome. Whoa, the crazy colors. I mean, kind of a takedown of video game guys like myself. I thought, there's this character Mojo. He's a creepy asshole. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'd play that guy in the show. But then Lifedeath starts. Nothing cool is happening. We're just in the Wild West.
Yes.
We're eating chili in a quiet cabin. Previously, we were in Neon Wonderscape. Jubilee is the character, flashing colors, dancing around. I thought, what a letdown.
dude, I really wish I had watched that though. The idea of eating chili in a desert is exactly right for me. That's where I want most my media and life to be reflecting.
Okay.
Quietly sipping tea and eating chili.
And chili in a hot desert?
It's a lot of heat.
The hunky inventor genius.
Get out of here. Yeah, with that guy? Overalls? What the? What are we doing? Why are we video games?
Overalls for days. Yes. So I hear you, Tim. That was Motendo / Lifedeath part 1.
Yeah.
It's actually 2 episodes in one.
I wrote that down. Motendo, big with a bunch of question marks.
Yes. Mojo and Nintendo. Motendo.
Yeah.
Then there was this whole episode called Remember It in between part 1 and 2 where a lot of people died, but we're not going to talk about that. We're going to say that. We're not going to talk about that because we got to deal with it. You got to remember it, but don't talk about it. So I'm hearing what you're saying, and it's a lot about the desert and the bird and the chili, but much like the episode, I want to start in space. This intergalactic battle, the Imperial Guard versus, this is where I'm going to go to Emma Pope to see if she remembers Captain Marvel. Do you remember the Kree? Those blue people?
I knew that sounded familiar.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, of course. The Kree.
The Kree.
Of course, the Kree. Yes. Oh gosh, I wish
Damon,
you had said something earlier. Yes.
I literally, the very first sentence I wrote about this was a quote: "A true Kree bows to no one." Emma, how well were you following along here? I literally wrote that down.
And honestly, that was literally going to be my next question.
A true Kree bows to no one. What the hell?
I hear that. You know what I was really thinking of when I watched that scene was in Spaceballs, because the ship looked the same. And you know when they go to Plaid and they go really fast and then they stop it and Rick Moranis flies to the front and his dark helmet. So I was giggling that whole scene thinking, oh boy, there's someone who's gonna crash. And then there was also a scene where she said, oh gosh, I almost screenshotted it, but I don't think you can, where she was like, bow to my pose or something.
Mm-hmm.
and I read this subtitle as "Bow to My Piss," and I was like, "Damn, that's a badass girl." So
Bow
I
to
was
this
just
piss.
bow to the piss. I was making it my own. I did not know what was going on. Usually you can kind of tell like who's good and evil. She's evil, they're good, but like it's sort of like in space.
In
No one
space,
knows the difference.
no one can hear the plot.
Uh-huh.
And I did when I saw this episode, I was like, God damn, I'm gonna ask my non-Marvel friends to watch this. And I do apologize.
Oh, that's fun.
Do you have any questions about this? Because this battle gets immediately interrupted by the Empress, who
Yeah.
I guess part of her rule is that like whenever she makes an announcement, everyone has to stop what they're doing and tune in. It's like, stop, I'm saying something.
Yeah.
I did miss
Across the
that
galaxy.
connection a little bit myself. I was like, wait, I thought we were in the middle of battle and now we're like all hanging out and talking at a different
Y-
place. Is that what
yes.
happened?
Yes, that's exactly what happened. Like everything has to pause because the Empress has to announce her engagement.
Well, from a like narrative perspective, wouldn't whatever what's her name, Deathbird,
Deathbird, yeah.
however she's being introduced in that first scene is like gonna have something to do with what she does later, right? Like, so I could kind of tell. I was like, the story isn't about this, or they would have given us more information about it. It's like a
Right.
ploy to see who she is, and then she gets a voicemail, and like, okay, that's what it is. So I to me, who cares?
Yeah.
Kree,
Yeah.
to Kree or not to Kree? That's where I landed.
Michael, write that down. That's great. Michael keeps all the notes. Decree or not decree, that is the question. I love it. Because the Empress has an important announcement. She finally picked a new emperor. And wouldn't you know it, it's Professor Charles Xavier. Tim Lamphier.
I was like, of course the girl's announcement is, I got the ring.
This show does not pass the Bechdel test.
She doesn't have anything else to announce to the universe right now.
No, she
We're doing it. Okay, there's like literally a war.
We're literally at war, and you want to talk about your new boyfriend.
Yeah, exactly.
Tim Lamphier. So this is the first time we've ever talked about Charles Xavier on this podcast.
Oh my
because
God, special time.
In the show of X-Men 97, he is perceived as dead on Earth.
I saw that.
Yeah, so no one knows. Everyone thinks he's dead. No one knows that he's actually in space. We later learn this a little bit. Also, we don't do spoilers on this podcast. No spoilers. We don't spoil anything going forward. So this is just up to episode 6. But I'll just say some X-Men know where he is, but most of humanity do not. So Tim Lamphier, I'm going to you. Can you please, for the listener, give us a brief explanation of who Professor X is? Please.
Well, Professor X is a
and if you need any help
mutant.
here, please feel free to reach out.
He's pretty much like a normal kind of slightly older man who he's a psychic mutant, but there is something different about his body, Emma.
He doesn't have any hair.
And that's exactly what I was talking about. He doesn't have any hair. That's right. No, famously, he doesn't have the use of his legs. And that's what you were getting at, I think. After that. And you're walking away. You're fully
storming
just walking away.
Storming out.
Yeah, he's a psychic mutant. He can speak to people in their minds and reach out to people across, depending on how powerful he's feeling. His mind can reach out across, the cosmos even maybe. But yeah, and that's his thing, is talking to people. And they mentioned in this episode that he is a great peacemaker. He's good at bringing people together and educating them as well.
Ooh.
Yes.
I love that.
Can one man have it all?
Not all.
No
hair.
No hair, no legs.
No hair, no legs.
And is it true that every mutant has one weakness and his is no hair? And then every day I look in the mirror, I'm getting closer to his weakness on the top of my head.
I think growing up, I always thought that was what made him so powerful, because he was a psychic. He like took his hair off so he can like hear people's thoughts better.
Yes, so that's good.
The hair's getting in the way.
Yeah, it actually is like, it's a power.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like putting a hat over the microphone.
So, okay, Professor X, he was like shot at the end of X-Men, the original run of this cartoon, but then this is canon. I have not rewatched the series finale of the original X-Men cartoon, but he was taken by Leandra, this spoon-headed woman, sorry, Empress, and taken to space.
Sorry, spoon-headed empress.
She's royalty. Gotta be correct.
Yeah.
Leandra. So she's like really happy that she's with Professor X. They're like in love, but he is like trying to get her to like, oh my God, I don't know. I don't think this is a great plan. His plan is like, oh, you should totally rule on Earth. Let's go there.
Hmm.
She's like, no,
He-
I live with the spoonheads. I can't do that.
Well, he isn't even. I think it's someone. No, it's Deathbird's words that says he wants to make the seat of the galaxy Earth, and he's like, that's not what I want. I just want to go there one freaking time and hang out.
Yeah, I got that was more the impression I got. And again, having been in the X-Men world for 22 minutes, I think you're a little off here, Damon.
Wow. This has never been said to me on my podcast before. I've never heard these
but
words.
I mean, at least from just I was like, oh, I think he wants to like have there just be like a connection. Does he want
Okay.
did he want to rule, like have her rule Earth, or just have it be like, we should be in communication. We shouldn't be afraid of them. They shouldn't be afraid of us. Like,
It's like with me and Megan when I'm like, where I'm from, the small town, it's pretty cool. And then Megan goes and visits. She's like, great. And then I'm like, so we can go back and visit. She's like, but we already visited. I'm like, yeah, but it's kind of fun to go.
Mhm.
Like Professor X is like that. He's like, Earth is like kind of cool. Like,
yeah. And he's like,
She's
my
like,
children are there. Was he talking about his children or the X-Men, or
Yeah,
does he have biological children?
he does not. He means the X-Men.
Okay.
They're a family. They're a family.
I mean,
oh, he has no balls, by the way. Physiologically, he's a eunuch.
oh boy. Okay.
Yeah. Had to get rid of that for the
So
power.
he's just heart, head, and torso at this point. Yay.
We get a great line from Leandra when Professor X brings up his kids. She compares families to black holes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Wow.
Suck
That was
you in and you can't
dark.
leave.
That was dark, literally.
It's like, damn.
In that beautiful garden too. Oh, I loved whatever she was doing with those flowers.
Yeah. Whatever she was doing.
Tossing things
Sprinkle
on them.
something and then they would open big. And so
Mhm.
it's, it's like, okay, so you're allowed to have your comforts, the things that make you feel good in your space, in your home. Obviously your family's around.
But
But
what about me?
But
Mhm.
what about me? Exactly.
Mhm.
Esther Perel, where are you?
Oh my God, Emma. Yes. That is my favorite podcast to do yoga to. I'll just say this. They moved in together too soon. That's what
It did feel like that a bit.
it's like. She saved his life and now he's the emperor.
Right. I mean, that also starts out as a power dynamic too, of him saving her and him depending on her. Now we've established who has the power in the relationship and who's the dependent. And it's like he doesn't really get to bring his full self into the relationship because his full self includes the people in his life.
Yeah.
She's asking for a lot of intimacy on. It feels like not a lot of time. She's pretty boldly asked straight up for him to never pretend with her. Never pretend with me.
Mm-hmm.
Never pretend with me. Always be honest, Professor. Jeez, they're like going. She's like, right here, you're mine. And don't fuck around either, okay? I love you so much.
I love you so much. Don't.
She said, I have to tell everyone. I have to tell everyone.
Meeting of the universe. Meeting of the universe.
Yeah.
Attention.
Attention.
I feel like I'm screaming into the mic. Sorry. Attention. What's the next thing that happens with Professor X?
I'll tell you what the next thing is. He says a line, not now, my pet. And then he's like, I'd love to be your pet.
Well, yeah, he did.
And then
He
I'm
did.
like, wait, what is this freaky role play they're into that he's cool to be her pet somehow? What's this?
I mean,
It was one line, but I'm like, wait, what? He's just like down to be her pet.
I'll just say this. They're doing some freaky shit because she's also a psychic as well. So there is some like mental
Oh, the
connection.
sex is crazy.
It's
You gotta be
crazy.
psycho.
Yeah.
Psychic.
I bet a lot of mutant sex is crazy because they're like
Sure.
powers on or off, and both of them are probably always like on. Let's go. no.
listener, Tim was extending his limbs in every direction possible and with a slurping sound. So I believe they were elongating.
I mean,
Elongating,
psychic sex. Can you imagine? You both
Oh,
can
yeah.
read each other's minds.
Mm-hmm. Like, oh, could you? I'm already on it.
I'm there.
Oh, could you move? Yeah, I'm right here.
And with your yep,
and also maybe it's like, oh, do you want to see me today or Idris Elba? You know, like you could like put
Oh,
an
they
image
can
in there.
switch who they are.
Mm-hmm. Give you
Or
like
should
a
we go to
different
that
image.
classroom in the sky and have sex on the table and it's cool?
On the astral plane.
Come on.
Come on, indeed. So I think the next big scene is Deathbird arrives in dramatic fashion.
Yeah.
She's not happy.
oh, she's pissed.
We get
She got called out of her her
Mhm.
creedom.
her she was fighting for freedom. Because I believe the plan is these people, the Shi'ar, are trying to conquer the Kree, and the Empress wants Charles Xavier to then re-educate the Kree into the ways of the Shi'ar, is like the plan.
Yes.
Okay,
that's what
it's
I
sounding a
gathered.
little colonist.
I think a lot colonist, yeah.
Yeah.
They're just kind of like, we're going to keep taking over and you're going to become part of us.
Mhm.
And everyone will be better. Mostly us.
Like, definitely us, maybe you.
Yeah. And maybe
Yes.
you, not a priority, really.
Mhm.
Yes.
And so Deathbird comes in, and I will admit, I remembered her accusation as truth, but it was not right because this is where we get the infamous line, he wishes to move our empire into his Milky Way ghetto.
She's
She
twisting
said
my
ghetto.
words. Oh, she
She
did.
said
Yes.
ghetto
She
too,
did
which I was like, oh.
Ugh. Also, I was like, how do they know that word? They're in
Yeah.
space. Is that just a universal word?
What movie? Yeah.
Fair. So she's like,
Milky Way ghetto.
you can't trust him. He's from Earth, or as they say in the Marvel universe, Terran.
He's one of the Terran.
One of the Terran. And so she comes up with this plan to
Totally reasonable, totally fair.
Yes.
Totally reasonable, totally fair, and everyone's like, sure.
Yeah. Tim Lamphier, would you like to explain what the plan is?
Totally reasonable, totally fair. Okay, yeah, you can marry the Empress of the galaxy, but you're not allowed to have memories pretty much from your entire life. So, yeah, okay, and I said it, and that's the rule. All of a sudden, that's the rule all the way through. Like, whatever crazy thing I freaking thought of.
Yeah, if you love her.
There's no limits on the rule. There's
What?
no limits on what she can ask of him. She's
Yeah.
like, yeah, and also, you're not allowed to have eyeballs, and you have to act like a chicken the rest of your life. That's my rules. Otherwise, you can't. You can't marry my
Yeah.
sister.
Otherwise, it's right what I thought. You are a traitor.
Exactly.
See? Look how he's hesitating.
He's not acting like a chicken for 1 second for the rest of his entire life.
Yeah.
I requested this crazy thing of you.
He doesn't want to give up memories of his loved ones. Oh, God.
Good God.
What a monster.
Well, then would he even be the same person that she fell in love with
Exactly, Emma.
without who made him him?
That's 5
Who
points for
made
Emma.
he him?
5 points.
Who made he him?
Exactly. Are we not a collection of our experiences in some way? Right?
Yeah.
Are we not a summation of the entire life we've led up to this point?
I believe it.
You can't delete your life and still be a person. What are we talking about here, Deathbird? Jesus.
Yeah, you're just gonna clank around empty. I mean, what's left? What's left?
What's left but the clank? But then Professor X does what I would have done and talked to Gladiator. I would have been like, Gladiator, what do I do? Can we talk about this person, Gladiator? I think he's great. I think
He seems awesome.
I don't know
he's
who that is.
perfect.
He was
the
the
blue
slightly
man
purple guy.
with the mohawk, and he had the red cape, and like
Okay.
nothing could hurt him.
He's kind of the bodyguard.
Yes.
Be my bodyguard. That's yeah.
This podcast
He
is
just
brought to you
seemed
by
to be
Cowboy
there.
Carter.
He seemed like remember in Game of Thrones, who was just that big metal guy?
Oh,
Game of
the mountain.
Thrones. I'm not into that nerd shit. Anyway, back in X-Men 97.
Back to space.
Gladiator cannot be shot with bullets. It's so cool.
Yeah. So, Em, are you referring to the mountain?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like he's just around to kind of keep him safe.
Yes. This is like a back and forth, but then the Empress shows up and she's like, oh, God, do it. And the Professor's like, okay, I'll do
Wait,
it.
can I say from the gladiator conversation?
Yeah.
I just like this quote from Professor X, and then Gladiator responds because they're looking at this like artwork of these formerly warring people who came together and got married for the sake of the universe or whatever. It's art. And Professor X goes, and here I thought the Shi'ar looked down on art as a sign of insanity and deviance. And then Gladiator responds, in most cases, which I thought was harsh, because we do artwork as comedians, and I don't think I'm necessarily insane or a deviant.
But that is such a perfect encapsulation of what the Shi'ar?
The Shi'ar.
Yes.
Okay. Right? Like they're not interested in the complexities of human thought or nuance. They're just about power.
Yes.
Again, from what I took from about 11 minutes of screen time.
It was an even 11-11 split.
I think I have their number, yeah.
Yes. Tim, you're one of the greatest artists of our generation.
Totally.
Know that about yourself.
Insane.
And I'm not insane or deviant in some way where I want to be Megan's pet on a leash or something like that. I mean,
so Emma Pope, you actually did this, the Rites of Imdaja before.
In Black Hawk Down. What?
In Black Hawk Down. Yes.
In Black Widow.
In Black Widow, exactly. Can you recall, I mean, what was it like to lose your memories? I know it's hard to ask that, but if you can take us back there.
It's very much like if you've ever had a dental operation, which I haven't, but I can understand it. You count, they say count back, and you'll think, well, surely I will have some understanding of time having passed or whatever, but you close your eyes and then you wake up and you're in the waiting room. It's as if nothing. You don't even go to a different place. You don't dream. There's no sense that anything has happened between now and then.
Wow.
Yeah. If you had a bad, a tough conversation to have or an election that was particularly stressful, it would be a nice tool to be able to just say like, oh, it's done.
Yeah. Alas. And that's what they want to do. But then
He hesitates.
He hesitates.
He doesn't even say no.
No, yeah. Well, and he does denounce the first part. He denounces Earth or whatever. He says yes.
But and
then they're like, and the X-Men, and he goes, he doesn't say anything.
Maybe he's just counting every single X-Man he knows, because there's quite a lot of them. It's just like, okay, Rogue, Storm, Gambit, Cyclops, Jean, Beast, Jubilee, and like, oh, hesitating.
Yeah. Jubilee?
Now listen to this. I had an idea for a totally different, this would be a 3-parter episode here.
Ooh, Life, Death, Part 3.
Where he says yes. And then they zap the memories from his mind and you're shocked. You're like, oh my God, he just fully forgot Earth and all the X-Men. What the hell is his plan? But through love, they switch memories, him and the Empress, so that he could have the memories of Earth still exist in someone, and he would have her memories. That way, when they wipe out all his Earth memories through their union, do the memories still persist because she has them? Using some kind of psychic power, they would transfer all of his memories to her. That way, he could still erase them from his, and it would be a different life and a different sad life. But as a union, they would preserve these memories of. I thought that was a cool idea, potentially. I mean, obviously,
Love that.
I don't know what happens next, but I thought he'll say yes because they already did the memory swap.
Yeah, I like that.
I do like that. Kind of like a little memory drug mule situation. Like you carry it across the board.
I mean, the writers kind of knew what they were doing because he never said no and he never said yes. So he can't be held to either of those later,
Except for Earth. He does say yes to the first question. They're like, will you denounce Earth? He's like, yes.
All the way.
Loud and proud, baby. I want my freedom.
He hesitates. Deathbird is like, liar, Trickster, attack.
I mean, she's running the game. She is running the game, which shows me that these are not a group of people who are very stable in their beliefs and confident in themselves, because she just comes in with a big wingspan and says, "Oh, we're gonna do it like this," and they go, "Yeah, I think so." Also, she's wearing platform sneakers. She's wearing like wedge sneaker boots. I was like, can we have any space? Okay,
Style
yes.
icon, Emma Pope.
Thank you. Can we have any space for women looking differently in cartoons? This is a general note. Can we look a little differently? Everybody's face looks the same. Storm has dark skin. The features on her face are the same. Her body is the same. She's got big old titties, 10-pack abs. She's got a nice a little waist if she decides to do kids, muscular legs, and then some kind of heel. A heel.
Well, she flies.
Then a sneaker, a boot.
We're gonna get to her, but
okay. But I noticed it in Deathbird, because she started running, and I was like, wait a minute.
She's wearing
like 2-inch wedges. How's she running in wedges?
Well, it gets very chaotic, and then Professor X is like, "Oh yeah, I can control people's minds," and he snaps them all.
Oh yeah,
into a classroom.
I wrote down in all caps, "Boom! It's time for class."
I think this was producer Michael's favorite scene when we go to class.
That suit he was wearing, that green suit. Fashion icon, Emma Pope.
Fashion icon. Yeah. I mean, the green suit, that's the standard. That's what he usually is rocking.
Yeah, I know.
And you knew that.
Yes.
I like this lesson. I think this was it like simplified what people tend to think are complex ideas of, colonialism, I'll say it, and colonizing, of the idea of like making sure to attack a young culture early so that they don't rise up to take you down. But then he's like, who taught us that? Like, and Leandra's like, we did. My husband.
She was married before?
No, that's what she said. I imagine that's what she says to Professor X.
Because
like, we did, my husband. And he's like,
it's very much like the Matrix, where they're like, where he's like, humans are a virus.
Which character in the Matrix is that?
That is the security guard guy.
Oh yeah, Phil.
No, the guy who's he's the bad guy, but then it's like, is he kind of right?
Oh, you mean Cypher, the bald guy?
No, he's in a suit with sunglasses.
Mr. Smith.
It's Mr. Smith.
Agent Smith, rather.
Agent Smith.
Smith. Yeah, that's right, Emma. Good.
Thank you.
You're officially invited to my Matrix podcast, where we watch all three of the Matrix.
Okay, the fuck? Crazy. First I'm hearing about
Who
this.
are these security guards?
All right, to wrap up this side of the thing, everyone's like really digging Professor X, and they're like, oh my gosh, we're believing you. And then something goes wrong, because I feel like he's finally reaching out and thinking about his X-Men. And he's like, something's off. One of them feels dead. And we see Gambit, a large version of him, and his face turns to a skull. And of course, we all know from watching episode 5 that Gambit did die in the last episode. Yeah. This show did kill off, but you guys knew this. The show did kill off a major character in Gambit. Yeah. I would recommend watching episode 5. It's intense. And he's like, oh shit, fuck the Shi'ar, fuck Deathbird. And I'm so sorry, fuck Leandra. I need to get back to my children, my X-Men. They need me. They were dancing, making love.
Drinking wine. Yeah.
I was like,
honestly, that is a part
wine.
of the Matrix too, where they're like, it's beautiful. There's beauty in humanity, even, whatever. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna stop making a connection, but you keep presenting it to me. Okay, so there's beauty. They're making love. They're drinking wine.
And then they got attacked by Sentinels, the killer robots. It was devastating. And so yeah, he's like, I need to go back home. And I think that's where we leave off with him, correct?
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah.
I do want to just repeat that pretty impressive, strong anti-capitalist message in the classroom scene. He's like, By the way,
Yeah.
and I'm not talking about America, but basically we are these fucking colonizers that chop people down at the knee and then grow them back up in our image to help us. And then that's what the Shi'ar are, and air quotes, And then he has that line, right? They were dancing, drinking wine, making love, real hippie style, but sort of like the fancy kind, like he's a cool lawyer kind of guy. I'm cool, man. I'm a public defender, but I am a lawyer.
Yeah.
They were dancing and drinking wine and making love.
That's all.
He's not going to smoke weed, but he's cool with people who do.
Oh, he definitely is. Professor X is definitely cool with people smoking weed, and this podcast is cool with people taking a break. And we're going to take that break right now. When we get back from the break, Podcast 616 will tackle all things involving Storm, Forge, and that big-ass bird, the adversary. So keep it right here to Podcast 616, and we'll be right back. Gentlemen, across the nation, I have an urgent message for you. This episode of Podcast 616 is brought to you by Manscaped. The brand that took your balls to space is now launching them into the Ultra Sphere, introducing the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. Featuring a new cutting-edge design and next-generation dual skin-safe blade heads for different shaves, it's pretty much a spaceship to take your boys downstairs to the next level. Join the 9 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with a brand new The Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra by going to manscaped.com for 20% off plus free shipping with the promo code PRESSPLAY. That is 20% off plus free shipping with the code PRESSPLAY at manscaped.com. Your balls have been through enough. It's time to go ultra with Manscaped.
Hello, Brooks here with the Books with Brooks monthly book club podcast. Here's how Books with Brooks works. We read one book a month, and then we talk about it. Classics like Stephen King's The Shining, debut novels like We Are the Brennans by Tracy Lang, and tons of other compelling, life-changing stories, one book and 1 month at a time. So come read along with us, and then listen in.
Hey everyone, this is Don Mike Mendoza, the host of Producing While Asian. Join us in Season 2 for more conversations with actors, artists, producers, and more from Broadway, Hollywood, and beyond, every other Wednesday on the Press Play Podcast Network.
Welcome back, everybody. Emma Pope, you are wearing white overalls and you've fashioned your hair into a slight mohawk. So I'm guessing you're a big fan of birds. No, you're dressed like Storm from the episode. Talk to me, especially, okay, so Emma, you just dropped into this episode. So talk to me about how are you feeling about the Storm arc? Do you know what's happening? Do you need me to fill in any blanks?
Let me tell you if I understand this correctly.
Okay.
Because, and then you fill in what is missing. I'm sure there's a lot. She got in some sort of a battle where she lost her powers. She went to the desert. She found this family, and they found her. I'm looking at your, okay. They found her. And then she started to have a romantic thing with the son because that mustache be poppin'. And she's kind of like, this is my new life. Like she's grappling between like superhero, human questions. Then this bird comes, the greatest adversary, and kind of attacks them, and he bites the guy on his shoulder. And it's like, now it's poisonous, and now it's like bringing up all this stuff for her of like, oh God, now I have to face reality.
That's great. That is perfect. Just two things.
Yes, please.
There's no family. It's just him, just Forge.
Didn't he talk about mother?
Did I talk about mother? Maybe talk about it, but it's just him in that cabin.
Cute.
Having a little affair. And The one detail, like
Dream.
the reason the bird is like tempting her to let him die is because Storm found out. So she lost her powers from like a special weapon that was shot at her. And she
Mm.
found out that he built the weapon that
Oh.
took away her powers because that's his mutant ability is he can make things really quickly. And so he
Mhm.
was needed some money and he knew some bigots and they were like, hey, make us these anti-mutant weapons and we'll give you a ton of money. And he's like,
Mhm.
great. So
Oh, that's so complex.
I know,
Emotionally.
for a half-hour cartoon. Who knew?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I fully, as we discussed in Life Death Part 1, they be fucking. They did it.
Oh,
love
they
that.
must be. Jesus Christ. The
must
sex
be.
that they're probably having is insane in my mind. Oh, yeah. Sorry for
No,
Megan, but the things he's inventing in the bedroom, I mean, come on.
Tim, put
A
down
guy
those
like him.
pictures.
Look at this. I've drawn some of my bedroom inventions.
That's right. He can invent anything, so he's probably very inventive in the bedroom.
Uh-huh. And he's laying there bleeding blue blood, like on the bed where they've, where they've had so many nights and days.
Countless romantic
Countless.
encounters.
Ugh.
Every square inch of that apartment's got to be covered in fluids. Sorry, that was disgusting.
Here's what I'll say. I just want to say this real quick. This is why I love this cartoon, is because this is authentic Marvel, where like you don't have to worry about casting or your contracts with Sony versus Columbia Pictures. You can just have everything. So like we get space aliens in this episode, the Kree, the Shi'ar, but then we also get like magic because that bird is like a magical creature. And at one point, Forge has that spell book and he uses the magic that looks like Doctor Strange,
Yeah.
you know, and like that's just like what reading a
He
Marvel
said
comic
mother.
book.
He said mother was in the desert about that spell that he cast. That's how he knew the
Yeah.
spell was for mother.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he used to. Yeah, he said he watched Mother do magic, and he learned a little bit from it. So yeah, he was living there. I think at some point with his mother, at least.
Live and learn. Thank you. I really liked that we can just kind of like, yeah, he's got the magic and it's like Doctor Strange, and then we're also in space. Like we're doing it all, and
Yeah.
still mutants. There's also mutants with superpowers.
Yeah.
Everything but
Really
the kitchen
cool.
sink.
Did you know
Uh,
that the voice actor for Storm also did the adversary?
I didn't know it for sure, but I could hear
Oh.
bits. Because it kind of sounded like they distorted her voice slightly. You know,
Yeah. I mean,
it's cool. It was
a
just
lot.
her.
And the cast at the end, there's a lot of people who play like three different things. Which I was like,
Mhm.
okay, but there is something really like poetic about her playing her own, darkest
Negative
thoughts.
self-talk. Yeah.
Totally.
And isn't that that's like such a Harry Potter thing that this is just a creature that like it feels you're like a Dementor, like, ooh, she's really anxious
Yeah.
about this. Time to eat, you know.
Yeah, it was like my favorite combination: fear and self-loathing, or something like that. It says later.
Your favorite combination?
That's what it said.
Oh, I thought you were saying you also prefer that.
No, that one will trip me up.
Yeah.
Me personally, I don't do well with those. Okay, wait. How did the adversary come into the picture? Like, where does it come from?
It just lives out in the desert. I think it's just like
Okay.
it lives in desolate places. So it just kind of like fell. I think Forge and Storm, because I think Forge, because he made the weapon that caused Storm to lose her powers, his guilt and self-loathing was rising, and Storm already had that. So like the combination of them together just was like so appetizing to the adversary. It's like, oh, I've gotta feast on these motherfuckers.
So it just
Wow.
kind of showed up.
Mm-hmm.
I really love that. I mean, not that
Yeah.
it showed up, but I love the idea of like a conceptual feeling, like turning into a creature.
Physical
Mhm.
threat. Yeah.
Yeah, physical threat. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Coming from a fashion background, that is just so funny.
Well, and that's what you look for in a garment, like a
Yes,
physical
yes.
representation of how you're feeling.
Of an emotion, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, Emma. X-Men's pretty cool.
I like that.
I was gonna say that. Okay, so what happens next? So yeah, so Forge is poisoned, and you know what? I'll say it. He looks hotter on his deathbed than he ever has before.
Ever before.
He looks hotter top to bottom. And before I before we even talked about the Mary Fuck Kill segment of the show, I assumed that he was one of the guys. And as soon as I pretty much saw his like one of his very first lines is about he's like making chili and he drops the I love you pretty early on. He's a damn mega hunk. He's a genius. He rides horses. He's buff. I was team fuck instantly with him. But he's not even in the Mary Fuck Kill now, is he? I've had all these complicated feelings about how I want to fuck a cartoon character named Forge, and now that's not even on the table for me.
Shout out to Trent Dozier and Rashawn Scott, we had Forge on the table, and listen to our episode 4 podcast.
Did anybody marry him?
I think we decided he was too emotionally unavailable for a full relationship, so
That's just my type. I'm going all in. I'll fix him. No, I'll fix him. I'll make him better. I can make him better.
He's a mutant who can fix anything except himself.
Wow.
He's complex. He's a complex guy. I love Forge.
This podcast is so important, David.
We talk about, like I said, we did the learning, and now we're here to talk about feelings. Professor X was the learning. This is the feelings portion of the podcast.
Oh, God. Okay.
So get ready. So, oh my God. At one point, Storm said, "We ride together, my love." And I was like, oh my God, love in the desert? Storm rides a horse, and they need to find this cactus. Because basically there's like, Forge uses that spell that he learned from his mother, banishes the beast for a bit.
Back to the desert.
Back to the desert, you ugly bitch. Sorry, that's my dialogue.
Just like Mama used to say, yeah.
Tim Lamphier, producer Michael, he does research on all my guests, and you actually suffer from a fear of claustrophobia, much like Storm.
Yes, I am a master of the elements, controlling wind, rain, lightning, hail, snow. I can fly. I can kill with a blink of an eye, with a flash of lightning, but I am afraid of crawl spaces. It's my one weakness. I can't get down all fours and scoot through something.
Yeah, it's hard to scoot when you're terrified.
Oh my God, the space is those small? Yeah.
Could you give some advice to Storm, like how to best navigate those tight spaces?
Storm, close your eyes, girl. Close your eyes and just start crawling, and do not open them, and just pray. Just pray, sweetie, that you're coming to there's a light at the end of this tunnel, because God knows I have the same exact fear, and it does not get any better. God, good luck.
Yeah. God, you should work for the army or something.
I do.
Oh.
I don't. I just said that. I don't know why.
We don't really
Can I?
I just don't like fake army people, but continue.
Yeah, no, I'm not a fake army person, and I would never claim to be, except for when I did just a second ago. But the point is, which part of the episode was this in? I wrote this down and didn't understand it at all. Was that in this part or the space part? How Rudyard Kipling of you.
Oh, I remember.
That was the space part. That was in That was when Professor X was talking to Gladiator, and I googled this man.
Still didn't. I just did a quick Goog, and it still didn't really shed any light for me on what the he's talking about. Why did he say that? How Rudyard Kipling of you?
Because he was so poetic.
Because Rudyard Kipling is a poet, so I think there might have something Gladiator said. Book? Oh, maybe that's what. Because I don't think people don't like the Jungle Book. It doesn't hold up in certain cultures. Let's say
racist.
A little bit racist.
Like pretty racist.
I don't want to make it a thing, but the Jungle Book.
That's not what the episode's about. But like, the Jungle Book's pretty racist.
Okay, racist.
Like, well, it's like
Bagheera.
Yeah, we don't.
Anyway. Okay, everyone shut up. I want to talk to Emma Pope. I'm so glad we have a style icon to talk about this transformation. So Storm's like trapped in the crawl space. The adversary's like, give me your fear. I want it. Very much like, I don't know, it's giving me Fat Albert energy. And
it was crawl space turned into, now it's a cliff.
Yeah. So almost no space.
To no space, and she's like, and there's like a depth below, like a whole cave below.
And then she
and for the sake of this, we won't call it a crawl space. We'll call it a Cree space.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you for
cute.
seeing-
So Rudyard Kipling of you, honestly.
so Rudyard.
Emma, thank
Uh,
you. I have no clue what you're talking about.
Storm digs deep,
Yeah.
like someone on Survivor, and she finds the will within to
Interesting.
break free. She later says, I thought this was really beautiful, that the only way to get over your demons is to embrace them and walk
Mm.
with them. And that's the only way you can get over it, is to just accept those.
I got
You get goosebumps? You
I
get
did.
goosebumps?
Yeah.
Pope's got the bumps. And that was so great. Like her whole thing of like, because she said, I think it was episode 2, she had a scene with Jean Grey, and she was like, sometimes I want to be human. Like I don't want this burden of being a mutant, because even when I'm like healthy and alive, people still hate me and are coming after me. And so she has this like, but then she has this guilt for feeling that way of like, I wish I wasn't the thing that makes me special. And now she was giving her twofold. And so she embraces that darkness in her. And
That's
Emma,
what
what
every
happened?
drag queen says. Honestly, every drag queen, when they're like, "What do you want to say to your younger self?" They're like, "The
thing that makes you different is actually gonna be the thing that makes you most powerful.
Yes.
I'm gonna cry.
Wow. My
Sorry, what
God.
was the question?
Well, yeah, much like a drag show reveal.
Yeah. Oh.
What can we describe this costume change and
The
hair
outfit change. So she became like, I don't know if you remember, there were these dolls when I was young that like you could cut their hair and their hair would grow back. It kind of was like little machine whirring sound.
I remember this. Yes.
The hair became a flowing. I think she just
So cool.
changed into like a purple long sleeve shirt. No, it probably was like a cool outfit.
Well, she later puts on a purple long sleeve shirt when she's taking care of her
when
man.
she's home. Okay.
But when
okay,
she's
okay.
she's flying, she's got, and this is like a classic Storm costume that was in the X-Men video game, if anyone ever went to the arcade in the 90s.
Yeah.
A full
I
no
did.
from Emma.
I don't know what.
So it's like a black leotard with a little crown and a cape. I don't know where this came from. I don't know why her hair grew out. If you can control the weather, you can also control your outfits and hair. I don't care.
Yeah.
This is an iconic scene.
Yeah.
She's flying through the sky, riding with horses. It's great.
beautiful.
We see the crown appear on her head
Ooh,
in one of the shots. It just goes, disappears.
so powerful. It's like in that
What's the Marvel movie that Brie Larson is in?
Captain Marvel.
Yeah, when she gets her outfit. Remember that?
Mhm,
And it's just kind
mhm.
of like
It's like sparkly. Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of cool. There's like so much power in that. And I think one of the things she says right before she transforms is like whatever the machine was called wasn't the only thing that took my power away.
Way like I did too, basically, and like I have the power to reclaim it.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what I said to that?
What? Listener, Emma Pope has put on some wraparound sunglasses and is humming the Bad to the Bone music.
Those sunglasses are so cool. What the hell?
Aren't these awesome?
God
They are
damn.
awesome.
This is my Storm transformation moment.
Oh, are you sure you're not trying to evoke Lindsay Lohan in The Parent Trap? Like, I'll take a whack at it.
I don't see that they're that far apart, to be honest.
And we learned that. And we learned. We felt and we learned.
And we felt and we learned. Yeah, it's so cool to see somebody like step back into their power and be like, I thought I had attributed it to circumstance that I felt so weak, but it is mine to claim.
Yeah. Freaking beautiful. I know some producers of this podcast didn't like this episode, but I think it's kind of beautiful. I think it's a beautiful story. And
We
loved
have
it.
to,
It's
damn
my
it,
favorite
we
episode
have
I've
to.
ever seen.
We have to. The point of this
Emma.
episode is as you said earlier. We cannot stay away from our fears and our problems with ourselves and our self-loathing. We cannot stay away from that. We have to look directly at it. We have to enter into the arena with these feelings so that we may understand them. Where are they coming from? They're coming from a place inside of us so that we can make ourselves better, so that we can grow, so that we can beat these feelings. We can't avoid them. We cannot run away from this, Emma. We have to crawl through our holes to understand what makes them so tiny or whatever. It's freaking us out about them, you know?
Add preacher to Tim's laundry list.
Preacher.
Plays basketball, fun guy, comedian, preacher.
Preacher?
Pastor to the
Army?
Well, I cannot wait to hear Tim Lamphier preach about his fuck, marry, kill.
Wait. Can I say one thing before we do about fuck, marry, kill?
Okay, please.
Please. Something I noticed in the episode that was probably the funniest thing of the whole thing to me.
Okay, well, then we have to hear it.
He's laying down. It's after everything is done. He's laying on the bed and he goes, well, what now? Should we whisk away to some tropical island? But here's the kicker. He's already picked up the TV remote when he says it. He's like, so, God, we're so in love now. We'll probably go to a romantic island or just watch TV. Okay, cool. Tosses it right on. She does the dishes.
What the
hell?
He's like, already holding so much better.
I rewound it and watched it several times. I'm like, yeah, he's already holding the remote. He's ready. He's like, God, our life is so romantic. It's wonderful to be alive and to be with you. But we're just in tonight. We're just hanging in tonight. Yep, gonna watch the game. There we go.
Thank you.
It was so true. What was she doing? She was doing some housework.
Doing the dishes.
Like,
she was doing the dishes.
You're cured now. Get up.
Yeah.
It's like we're both healed, and I think we're good. Thank you for that. May I take it to fuck, marry, kill?
Please,
now?
please.
Thank you very much. Fuck, marry, kill. This is a very interesting one. As I've said on this podcast before, once we use a character, they are burned. So it was very difficult, but we will not be discussing about Storm and Forge. You can listen to what our feelings about Storm in episode 1 and our feelings for Forge in episode 4. For this fuck, marry, kill on the docket is Professor X back in play, and then two birds, the adversary and Deathbird. A very bird-filled fuck, marry, kill. I will go first to give my guests time to think. I'm killing the adversary. I'm sorry. Too weird. Get out of here.
Absolutely, Damon.
You'd
be a moron if you weren't killing the adversary.
Thank you.
The sounds coming out of that little mouth.
It was on screen for 1 second. I thought, kill. Didn't need to see any of the other characters.
Absolutely killing that big ass bird.
Yes,
what a tongue.
Here I am. Kill. With a gun, with a power, whatever, a knife, anything. Kill that.
And all you have to do is conquer your fears, and it'll go away. Bye. I will fuck Deathbird. She's wild. I mean, of these choices, I would like to see what's up. I would probably fuck her after she pillaged a Kree ship, fresh from the fight. That'll be great. And I'm gonna marry Professor X. I think he's a real sweet man. I think he was gonna treat Leandra very well, and I would love to be his empress to his emperor. And I mean, he knows what I like, because he can read my mind. Like like
Psychic sex.
Like in sex. Yes, Emma.
Psychic
sex is.
Do you think,
sex.
Damon, do you think that he has the personal boundaries to, like, when you guys are in a fight, to not read your mind when you've asked him not to?
That is interesting.
You know what I mean?
I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say he will respect me in this marriage. It'll be a marriage of respect.
It's got to be tempting, though, for a guy like him. If he can read everybody's mind all the time, it's got to be tempting.
Got to be tempting. And it is a risk, because you don't know what he's erasing, because he can also alter your memories and your thoughts.
Oh, fuck.
He's that powerful. Yeah. So
Scary.
I'm choosing to trust my man, my little Baldy. Emma Pope.
You think he's okay with being called Baldy?
He better be.
Little Baldy.
Baldy. There's Baldy, my pet.
Emma Pope, as our most seniored guest, please. I would like for you to go next.
You know what, Damon? I am also gonna kill the adversary. The sound of that voice and that 8-foot-long tongue that kept coming out and wrapping around things, and those everything about it I tried to conceive for a second, like, well, maybe it'd be like some wild, funky sex. I said it would be dirty. There would be these like those feathers are stinky and old. Like he's probably like a light gray, but just like hasn't washed in 20 years or something.
You would get avian flu.
Ooh, at
Easily.
least, at the least, yeah.
At least.
That's what the bite is.
And it's blue. Okay. Also going to fuck Deathbird. What's her name?
Yeah, that's right.
Deathbird. I'm not thrilled about that, honestly, because sometimes like a bad guy sex seems like okay, kind of fun. Her energy's wrong to me.
It's all over the place.
It's all over the place. There's no through storyline. She's so self-involved that I don't think it would be a safe consensual experience. But I choose it.
As you must.
As I have to, and I'll do it. I am gonna marry Professor X, and I actually feel great about that. I have no concerns about the psychic abilities. I trust him implicitly. I think he has these powers, but he knows the weight and responsibility of them, and that he'll use them for good.
He will, and he does. Tim Lamphier.
I want to hop on that Baldy.
So
you hopping on Baldy?
Hopping on Baldy.
I'm hopping on Baldy. I'm getting sloppy toppy from Baldy, baby. But the point is, Megan just rolled her eyes. I could hear it in the room, her rolling her eyes. But anyway, the point is, Forge. I didn't know Forge was not the guy. So as soon as I saw Forge, I'm like, hey, that is a slam from me. Some kind of genius who makes chili, hangs out in the cabin, rides horses, is a fucking beefcake like that. Yeah, I'm fucking Forge. It's a slam from me. As in the straightest way possible, I'd like to have sex with that man. And then Adversary comes on and go, boom, easy, kill Adversary. So that means whatever's left, Professor X, got to marry him without having seen the character at all. I hope he's funny. Then he comes on screen, walks out, Emperor of the Universe, Charles Xavier. Yeah, I picked the right guy to marry. Okay, guy is the Emperor of the Universe. Okay, never pretend with me. He's perfect, totally perfect. Then I'm realizing he's a bit lame, but that's okay because he's just sort of, I could see it being like a lame marriage eventually down the line. So I'm actually switching.
But aren't they all?
Okay, they are. Well, no, but here's the thing. Okay,
we're really going through the process. Okay.
Now I learned Deathbird is on the table for the fucking, and I'm like, that makes some sense. Deathbird's psycho crazy. It would, a few nights of crazy passion. Why not? I'm worried for my life. Might get my throat slit. Whatever. But now I'm thinking I can fix her.
Oh boy,
it's the classic thing. And honestly, I'm thinking it even now with Deathbird. I'm thinking if I marry Deathbird and have a permanent relationship with my fear and my loathing, wow, isn't that the most powerful way to be? To understand, to constantly work at understanding my feelings for the rest of my life. It's tempting to marry that, and it's the most powerful way. It's in many ways the hardest way, but it does make me the strongest.
I'm so sorry.
And isn't that what X-Men's all about?
So what are you deciding?
I'm marrying all three, Damon. I said triple marriage.
Triple M. We've never had this before.
I have to marry my negative feelings so that I can understand them and be at one with them. I have to marry Deathbird because I can fix her. I feel Deathbird. In the same way, I want to understand Deathbird. You come in here and you say, you have to delete all your memories. I said it. I said you have to delete all your memories. That's ridiculous. Come on, Deathbird. Come on, come home. Let's have some ice cream. We'll talk about this. You're feeling hurt. You're hurt because your sister's marrying someone you maybe kind of like or something. That's I might, I could. And I marry Professor X, obviously, because he seems marriage material. He's the most stable of any of these fuckers.
I mean, yeah, truly.
It's a triple marriage for me.
Tim, thank you so much for absolutely breaking the game, breaking the rules, and showing everybody that as long as you justify your choices, I will allow you to do whatever you want.
I'm not banned from the podcast.
You're not banned from the podcast. Absolutely not. With an answer like
that.
Okay,
I just looked up who plays Forge, and it's Gil Birmingham. He's an indigenous actor. He's 70 years old.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Well-
He's awesome. You'd recognize him.
I mean, it would just be his voice. Thank you.
Yeah.
As you guys are looking up the 70-year-old man, thank you both for doing this podcast.
He's hot.
Emma Pope, if you want to hop on, or where can people find you? What's going on? And then to promote, this episode will be coming out, I want to say, on Memorial. This is coming out Memorial Day, actually. Memorial Day podcast.
Which is what?
The 27th of May.
Of May. All right. Get out there this weekend. Celebrate memories for Memorial Day.
I know. Don't
If you
erase them.
wanna- Don't erase your memories. If you want to find me online, I'm at Emmerpope, EMMERPOPE, and that's TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. That's kind of where it lives. But this weekend, really take time, reach deep into your memories, and connect.
Absolutely. Thank you very
And
much.
wear something fun
for once.
for
God.
once. Jesus.
Tim Lamphier. Where can people find you? What's going on?
I think it's probably easiest for people to be following me on Instagram.com. And that would be, and I believe you can find me either with my name, Tim Lamphier, or potentially my handle, which is totally Tim, LOL. Get on there. I have I'm looking at almost 1,000 followers. I mean, it's really, things are kind of getting wild on there.
Yeah.
And I'm posting more and more. I post almost every couple weeks or so. It's interesting stuff and such as. Was that the question?
Yeah, almost every couple
Let's
weeks.
hang out in real life. What's the best way? Come to my shows, please. That's the best way. If you like me, come to my shows. And the only way to find out about my shows is my Instagram reels. And those are, anyway, back to you, Damon.
And folks, he means it. That's the only way I met Tim, by going to his shows. So if you want to follow me, Damon, you can find me on Instagram at Black Chandler. That's BLK Black and Chandler like Chandler Bing. I'm currently crowdfunding for a little short film called Surgeons. Would love your support with that. It's gonna be a little short film, a little rom-com short film. We're crowdfunding through June. So I think you got about a week or two left to do that. So please, we've got perks. You're gonna get stuff. Go find the link. Go to the Indiegogo page. Donate. Thank you so much. Contribute. Thank you so much. And if you want to follow this podcast, you can follow this podcast at Podcast 616P3. That P3 stands for Press Play Podcast or Podcasting Network. That lets me fuck birds whenever I want to. Producer Michael, if you want to hop on the mic real quick, what letter grade would you give this podcast episode we just did?
A+.
Whoa.
That's the first A+ Michael's ever given.
Ever or to you?
Ever.
Ever.
To anybody.
Correct. I would agree. All right. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Emma. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Deathbird. We'll be back next week with episode 7, because you know what? We're going to talk about every episode of X-Men 97. I'm loving it. And I love the show. So thank you so much. And remember that with great power comes even greater responsibility.